Hey guys, Jonathan here, and in this video, we're taking an early look at the brand new LEGO Lord of the Rings set, BARAD DUR. LEGO sent me this early to review, but of course, all thoughts are my own. Now, this comes out June 1st, 2024, with 5,471 pieces and a whopping $460 price tag. It's over 17 inches wide from end to end and over 32 inches tall from top to bottom. So this set is massive, and oh my gosh, do we have a lot to look at. So I'm super excited. Let's get into it, and let me know your thoughts as we go along in the comments down below. All right, we'll start off by taking a look at our hobbits and their little side build. I love this because, honestly, what we see here could even be its own little set. If only we got Lord of the Rings sets that were actually affordable, which is one drawback to this set being as expensive as it is. That being said, our two minifigs here are exactly the same as the ones that come in the Rivendell set, the only difference here being that they don't have their short capes. They do both have the dual-molded legs, which are really cool in short form, those being short legs, I mean, of course, and overall, they're both great figures. So, of course, we've got Frodo here, who looks absolutely awesome. I love those big blue eyes with the face there, and then, of course, you can flip it around for a bit more of a muted face, which looks just as well too, depending on where you're at in your Lord of the Rings adventure. Then, of course, we've got Sam, one of my favorite characters, and definitely a very, very cool minifig. He also has this little diamond in his hand, which is supposed to be the Phial of Gladriel. You know, I don't think it's awful. I think it's a cool inclusion, and definitely makes sense for, you know, the scenes in this movie it's trying to depict, but I don't know that it really gets it across, because to me, being a LEGO fan, I just see a diamond, but I don't think that they would have made an entirely new piece just for something that small, so this was a creative way to get around that without inventing an entirely new piece altogether. Something else cool, too, is that we get brand new molded helmets for this set that I don't see appearing in any other sets because they're so specific to what we get here. It is really amazing to get these here, though, and they look absolutely awesome. There are a couple more helmet variations, which I'll show you in just a moment, but these two definitely make sense for these two disguised hobbits. Now, this set comes with several different orcs. These ones are a little generic. They're just green, and they use the Harry Potter elf hair recolored to dark brown with green ears, and they look really awesome. Now, we can also lift that hair up and see that the head flips around to see we've got teeth here that are kind of snarling, and we get all kinds of different weapons, too, including a shield that has great wear printing on it, and these cool axes, one of which is kind of built up into a scythe, and this orc is even worthy to wield Mjolnir, apparently. And like I said, we get a few more brand new helmet molds here that look absolutely awesome. This one could almost work for Juggernaut from X-Men, and this one looks a lot like Nova from Marvel, but regardless, they both look really good, and it's crazy to get so many new molded helmet pieces in this set. We also get a couple generic red orcs, and this one here you can see has an open mouth snarl, and this one is a little bit more sinister, but the cool thing is they both have the same head print on both sides, so you can show different expressions to have a little bit of extra variation. There's great printing on the fronts and backs of the torsos, and these two figures are actually different. You'll see the torsos are completely different, and the legs are very similar, but on the chef version, you can see that there's a little white speck there where there's not on this one. I'm going to assume that is a, deliberate decision and not just a misprint on mine, but tough to say, but still pretty cool, and you'll see why this one is a chef a little bit later in the review. All right, up next, we've got a brand new Gollum minifigure. This one is really cool, and compared to the original one, which I'll be doing a comparison of all these minifigs soon, it is pretty incredible, guys, that this version has a molded cloth cape on him instead of it being printed as the original one. We do use these new shorter arms, and the body is a completely new mold for this figure. I do think it's very cool, too, if we bring him up a lot closer. You can see the amazing face print on this as well as the hair print. And overall, this figure absolutely rocks and definitely adds a lot to this set. It is so much creepier than the original version, and I think that pays off well. All right, up next we have Gothmog. This figure looks absolutely awesome. I like his sunken-in eye and all the wear and tear battle damage we see, as well as the white hairs on the back of the head. It looks really cool. Now, something unique here is that the torso, and I mean the literal torso, is exactly the same as the chef character as far as printing goes. However, because this one has that, like, Palpatine tan arm, if you will, it technically makes this torso exclusive to this minifig, since that combo isn't the same on the other one. That being said, the leg print is exclusive, and of course the new head print is as well, and this figure is a real standout. Here we've got the mouth of Sauron, and this is absolutely insane. At quick glance, I do believe that this is the same helmet mold as the original one, but I'm not really sure what differences there are, so stay tuned for my comparison for that. That being said, the torso, legs, and head print are all very similar to the original, and the crazy thing is, the original was so good and so far ahead of its time that it's really hard to improve on it. If we lift it up, you can see what the head looks like with those nasty yellow teeth, and of course no eyes. There is a little bit of hair printing on the back, and if we lift the cape up, you can see that there's pretty nice printing on the back of the torso as well, but this figure is absolutely awesome and definitely a necessity to this set. Speaking of that, here it is, guys, our first ever Lego Sauron minifig. Oh my gosh, this thing is so cool. Now, something that I don't think comes across in the promo images is that the helmet is actually rubbery. It's not plastic, so you can see that the spikes kind of move when I push them, so the helmet is very rubbery. But of course, the helmet, the torso, the legs, all brand new here, and if we lift the helmet up, you can see he's got a brand new head underneath too. This figure is absolutely amazing, and definitely a worthy inclusion in this set, and if we were ever going to get him, it is amazing that he comes in this set. Now, I do have to say, my big gripe with this and Rivendell, as amazing as they are as sets, I really hate that they're so expensive. I mean, basically, when it's all said and done, you have to spend $1,000 to get all of the current LEGO Lord of the Rings minifigs, and I really hate that for the Lord of the Rings fans out there that would love to get these, but at the same time, it does let us get epic scale sets like this. Speaking of which, it's time to start taking a look at Barad Dur. So I'm going to go freestyle for the very beginning here, just to show you the overview of the outside. It looks absolutely incredible, and I absolutely am blown away with the amount of detail they got in here, especially for how black the entire tower is. Like, mixing the brown in the background to help colors pop is a very, very brilliant idea. And then, of course, the designers explained that along the bottom where we have these rocks, they tried to actually have like a code that they went for here, where the closer to the rocks, the brighter the color, because it's like reflection. So, of course, up here it's black because it's further from the rocks, but as we get closer, we get dark brown and then light brown and then kind of this like sandy brown, if you will, at the bottom. And I think that that's actually a pretty brilliant way to tackle this set as far as the color scheme goes. Now, there is one major play feature here, so let me get the camera on a tripod so I can show you that. Okay, so over on the corner here, you'll see there's a little knob you can turn, and when you twist it, it opens the front doors. It's a very ingenious pulley system on the inside, which when we get there, I'll show it to you, but it is incredibly cool that there's the play feature to have the doors open in front of your minifigs just like that. So another thing to note is that the entire structure isn't black the whole way up. We do have this rock structure that follows up. And basically, the designers of the set explained that this was a way for you to have a pathway for your minifigs to be able to travel up and around Barad Dur, which is pretty cool, and I do think it actually works pretty well in the end. Now, as we go up, you can see that there is a little bit of forced perspective going on from a further distance, but up close, I really like these structural supports that we got on the side, as well as these spires, which of course aren't built to minifig scale, but when you look at it from further away, it really does look great. So as you make it to the top of the rock formation here, you can see we've got a door on the side. It's not exactly functional, but it is pretty cool to at least have a reference to it there, and I dig that a lot. All right, and working our way up to the top, we actually have the eye here, which is absolutely incredible. It does move, as you can see. You can push it around and be able to have it look in any direction, so there's nowhere that the eye can't see. And if I flip it around 360, you can see how that's built with these pole pieces and a very ingenious use of Technic, just giving you clearance along that bottom groove there to let the eye be able to look anywhere. It uses a ton of trans orange and trans yellow pieces, which appear to be new to this set, if I'm not mistaken, in a lot of cases, but it looks really great, and especially the further away you get, it just shines. And speaking of shining, we actually have a light brick here that you could shine so that it illuminates the eye. And I went ahead and turned off my studio lights so you could see how the light works. It is really, really cool and very menacing. In fact, just for kicks, here it is with all the lights off, and wow, that thing really lights up nice. Now, one complaint I do have about this set, and it's a good complaint, don't get me wrong, is there's so much detail on the front and the back that there's no real way to display this in your house where you're able to like have a guest over and show them the whole thing. I mean, you would need an entire table dedicated to just this. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and flip it around for you now so you can see the absolute immaculate detail packed into the back of this set as well. Now, the thing about this in the movie, of course, is that we don't actually see the inside, if at all. So it is really cool that the LEGO designers were able to get pretty imaginative and put their own spin on things. So let's see what they did. Now, in order to allow the maximum amount of light to get in to show you everything, I'm actually going to deconstruct it the way that the designers put the set to be. So you can pull this pin out right here, which will allow you to remove the entire top part. Once you do that, you can actually remove this next floor here by pulling that part out. And you can remove the entire second floor by pulling it out so that you could get light and play access to the whole thing. So we'll move left to right on the ground floor, and you can see here that we have a very unfortunate soul here who is being Temple of Doomed into this lava pit. So we could twist this to raise or lower the cage up, and it kind of goes into the ceiling there. And then once you turn this down, you could just barely get them to touch the lava. It really just hovers above the lava, but it is kind of crazy that LEGO was able to include this but not put out the actual Temple of Doom Indiana Jones set. And even if they were going to put it out, the image we saw didn't have the lava sacrifice area, so it's kind of unique that we got it here but not there. Now, the main part of the bottom floor is the forge, and as we zoom in, you can see that we have all kinds of helmets here, including some duplicates of the aforementioned helmets. We get a third of that quote-unquote Nova-style looking helmet, a second of that Juggernaut-style helmet, and you'll see another Juggernaut helmet over in the corner, but we also get 2 more shields here, so if you have previous Lord of the Rings orcs, you could definitely use these to build your army. As we move on, you can see we've got some tools here, as well as more weapons, and even a little water bucket, because, hey, even orcs get thirsty from time to time, I suppose. Then, if we go ahead and move it to the side here, you can see we've got an anvil, as well as that Juggernaut helmet I mentioned a moment ago, as well as actually some shoulder armor that's on display there. And then if we move the camera over here, you can see that we do have some ingots as well as this little lava water fountain here. Or I guess it's just a lava fountain in this case. And I really like that to show that this entire thing is lived in and the lava is serving the orcs and they're using nature around them. Now, I had mentioned earlier about that pretty sophisticated system here, so I'm going and twisting that rock on the side again to open and close the doors, which you could see right there. So this is a pretty ingenious system, and I really like that they included this. The only thing I don't like is that it kind of makes the inside hard to access with your hands, but you do need all of this support to support all those extra layers, so it does make sense, and since they needed that support anyways, it's cool that they put a functionality in there as well. So we also have a little enclave here for Gollum, and I think that that's very, very cool to include. I like that there's a fish in there, of course, because Gollum's always sneaking around looking for hidden entrances and whatnot. And then we can pull this rock out and see that there's a spider creeping and crawling in there. I don't know that that's entirely necessary, but it is a very cool Easter egg that's hidden in plain sight. Okay, so we've got the second floor in place now, and you can see how it looks all together. You'll also notice that if we follow the trail up from before, there are steps to take you all the way up and around Barad Dur. And of course, the second floor here is kind of like a kitchen mess hall area where we've got some stew brewing here over the lava flame. We've got a menu, and of course, meats on the menu. Then we've got some ingredients in the back there, like a chopping block, a giant bone, and all that, and lots of food on the table and whatnot. There are seats for the orcs as well, and then if we move over here, we've got a drink with some green sludge coming out, and hidden in here, if we pull it out, are some designs for the rings. They look really cool, and of course, that's a stickered piece. And I do have to admit, there aren't a ton of stickers in this, which is definitely a welcome surprise. Now we've made it to my favorite layer, or favorite floor, of course, the third floor here, and this is Sauron's throne. This is so cool. I love the stickers they put in the back with the banners with the eye on it, and the best play feature, in my opinion, is when we pull this tab, it opens up, and oh my gosh, does it get even more awesome. So at the center of the room and center of attention, we've got the Palantiri orb, and this is so cool. We'll go ahead and remove it so we can get a better look. You can see that it's actually just a Lego head underneath an orb piece, so we'll lift that up to see that there's a completely unique head print, obviously brand new for this set, and it's really cool how it's depicting the different images for from around Middle-earth, and really just looks amazing. It's such a cool inclusion into this set. Then, of course, off to the sides of the walls that open up, we have these stickers that kind of allude to more areas in Barad Dur. And then on the back wall, we've got a sticker here with all kinds of, like, detective notes of everywhere in Middle-earth. So you can see Baggins and Shire and all of that great stuff. Super cool Easter eggs in there. So as we move up here, you can see we've got some axes hanging on the walls, and this area is what the instructions refer to as the Mouth of Sauron's Chamber. Now, I really, really like this, and you can see we've got the shirt here, which references Rivendell as far as the Lego set's concerned. It's the Frodo Baggins trick shirt. Then, of course, we've got a little quill here with a letter, and we actually have all kinds of scrolls in the back there that you can see are on parchment paper, but those are actually like little window pieces that are printed, which look really nice. Over here, we actually get a look at another sticker that's hidden there with a little Lego model there, which I wonder if that could be referencing something else. Time will tell. But we also have all kinds of great printing on this sticker there to kind of show us some more Easter eggs. Speaking of Easter eggs, we also have this very cool sticker with a portrait of Sauron holding up the ring, which just looks super, super cool. And I love the way that that adds texture to the room. And of course, we have this bar hanging in the middle here, and you might think that that serves no functionality, but it's actually a structural thing to add a little bit of, you know, support, I guess, between the walls. So I do like it, and it looks really great on this floor. And finally, that brings us to the top floor, which is like the study, and the instructions say that this is a place for dark magic and knowledge. So you can see that we could spin this little rotator here to move the ladder there so that your minifigs could access different books at different heights. And I don't necessarily see any, like, Easter eggs jumping out at me in the, you know, walls or anything, but if anybody recognizes anything, let us know in the comments. And of course, we've got this in the middle here too, which is quite cool. And then that finally brings us to the top. Well, guys, this set is absolutely massive. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it in my collection, but oh my gosh, do I love this set. I'm so grateful Lego sent it my way, and I have to tell you guys, if you're a big Lord of the Rings fan, this set does not disappoint. The only thing that disappoints me is I don't know where I'm going to put it because it's so big. But if there's a will, there's a way, and that's what I'm about to do now. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.